but it looks like the Soundwave curse was broken through bad piloting.
Very bad piloting. I think actually not bad piloting. I think it was the FC.
Yeah.
Really, those guys should have nuked that one Vindicator. They would have maybe lost one Talos by the time they killed that one Vindicator. But then you just saw damage go everywhere.
Yeah. I think that like real tigers,
Yes.
it's hard to get them to attack 12 tigers to attack one thing at once.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
All right. So that might have been the issue, that they use real tigers to pilot.
Their pilots are actually all tigers.
All right, so so what happened immediately was that Agony Empire started lighting up one of the Taloses. Dark Taboo started to light up 6 Agony ships.
Right.
Like 6 what looked like randomly chosen Agony ships.
Yeah, I think it was whatever's closest to you, just shoot it.
Yeah.
So I really, like I said, I really think it was the FC. The FC should have been more adamant about shooting the right target.
Yeah. It's actually amazing that they, even if it was completely random, that they still managed to split their damage so much that nothing died.
Yes.
You would think if it was completely random, eventually 2 or 3 Taloses would get the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, the real problem is the Shadow Cartel ran that almost exact same setup yesterday. They should have watched that match last night and seen that the key was getting those big battleship DPS ships down.
Yeah.
Because these Taloses are paper thin.
Yes.
They have the large blasters. They do tons of DPS. And like I said, if they were able to get one of those Vindys down, they would have had a tremendous advantage there.
And I mean, with that setup, I mean, you're just looking to alpha something, and you can't alpha 6 things.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, then
Especially
it's
frigates.
more like a gamma, really.
Yeah, because those neutron blasters have a hard time
beta.
tracking those assault frigates.
Yes.
I think that if that team was piloted by really high-skilled pilots, the Dark Taboo's team, instead of Tigers, I think they have a serious chance. I would almost favor them just seeing the 2 setups without knowing who's flying what.
Yeah, I was a
That's
little
a fair
worried.
point, yeah.
I was a little worried at the beginning of the match once we saw the ships. I thought that maybe I would miss my first pick of the day with that one.
The Talos setup is fairly good. Also, speaking of the Talos, see, I just remembered something off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head.
I got an email yesterday, and last year at the Alliance tournament, we had a mail from a couple saying that she was pregnant. They both played online. She was pregnant with twins. One of them was going to be named Aeon, and one was going to be named Talos. And I got an email from them yesterday or the day before saying that they wanted to do a first birthday cake, since both those kids are turning 1, with a picture of an Eve Aeon and an Eve Talos on the cake.
That is commitment.
That is commitment. That is commitment.
I think that the Talos baby is probably going to be a cooler baby, just because.
Well, the Aeon is half built.
Well,
The half baby.
no, stop.
All right. Well, again, wonderful couple, and yeah, it's cool. It's cool when people are like,
People really love EVE Online.
Yeah,
Spaceships are.
Especially the people that are dedicated enough to tattoo it to their skin.
yes. They don't love it as much as we love them, though.
Yeah.
Big hearts.
All right, so that's Agony Empire versus Dark Taboo. Agony Empire now have 2 points, and let's just check out the rest of the schedule. Godfathers versus Fatal Ascension coming up here. So, look at that. That's basically left side winning today. Well, that sucks a little bit. I have a lot of right side stuff today.
We rapidly have to break that trend.
Well,
Yes.
I am 3-0 so far, but my next 3 picks are on the right side, so.
All right. I know I have Godfathers now. I think they might just qualify. But so Agony Empire looking fairly safe. Dark Taboo not so much. But let's see what's coming up. It's been kind of like yesterday. Like the first half of the schedule has been kind of one-sided, and I think like the second half of the day is going to explode into like these brawly.
Maybe the morning teams just don't have as many 5-hour energies as we do at the studio.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
they're a
true.
little groggy.
Well, I'm pretty sure Fatal Ascension and Test Alliance have a lot of U.S. players, so they have to wake up a little early for this.
Yeah, maybe a little bit early. All right, so let's talk a little bit about So one of the things the 12-man format has brought is that it's essentially gone from one coherent fleet to bigger ships and smaller ships. And we talked to Ravy yesterday, who said that PL are effectively running dual FCs. They have a large group FC, and which, by the way, was from the CSM.
Oh, Elise Randolph.
Elise Randolph from the CSM running the big ships, and then someone else running the small ships. For Goons and Test, are you guys running the same strategy with multiple FCs?
It really depends on the setup. I mean, like the PL setup, they had the Enyos and Ishkars, which do tons of DPS when they're together. And I think Dan Cool was actually FCing the Vindicators, and then Elise was FCing the Enyos.
And the NEOs are essentially operating independently.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as you saw in the Pandemic Legion match, the Vindicators went straight for one of those Vindicators, trying to get some of that DPS off the field, while the NEOs went up and nuked that Scimitar. Because if you went and rewatched the match, that Scimitar and Vindicator died almost at the exact same time. The problem with the Kill It With Fire setup is they really had nothing to deal with those assault frigates.
Yeah.
They had Molluses and just I think maybe an Ishkar or an Cursus or something. I don't remember exactly, but they just nothing that could take care of those NEOs. I mean, those NEOs are really high DPS, about 350 DPS with those blasters.
So what type of setup would you run a single FC in, for example?
Oh, like an ECM setup. Well, actually, no, not ECM setup because the jams have to be coordinated. But say like a single battleship setup or like a single cruiser setup, like the setup we just saw from Dark Taboo.
Yeah.
Single FC because all that DPS has to be in one ship.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Because then it comes down to pilot skill more than the FC.
Yeah. Has Test Alliance ever considered running 12 FCs?
We actually place all the ship names of the opposing team on a wheel, and then we spin the wheel, and whatever comes up is what we primary. No, I think it's very true that the Alliance tournament is, the FCs in the Alliance tournament are vastly different than FCs on Tranquility. You have to be such a more self-sufficient pilot, even if you're not the FC in the Alliance tournament. You should be able to actively think what you need to do for yourself. You just require somebody to sort of coordinate all these strong pilots together.
I guess maybe movement is more important. Like when you're on TQ, you're effectively just pressing buttons in the big fights. But I mean, here, like we see so many boundary violations.
Oh yeah.
Like just stuff like being able to move away from the enemy, do whatever if you get targeted. Like
the first match today, choke point in the Ishtars, they should have been getting away from those Vindicators out of web range.
Yes. Yeah. So much more difficult to fly in this. How do you select the pilots then? Like who gets to go from your alliances?
Whoever shows up for practice.
I think showing up for practice is the big thing about it, but I know our team, we had to look at everyone's skill points, who can fly what, and I think we have a pool of probably 25 pilots that we pull from, depending on what setup we're using. Yeah. So it really depends on their pilots, their ability to fly the ship, because I mean, we've been practicing for months now, so people fly certain ships every single setup. That way they know the role of that ship. I believe in the prelims we had a Tornado who was just excellent. He right when the match started, the first second he alphaed a frigate, and then he was able to kite around, stay out of range because the Tornado is a fairly flimsy ship. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
It is really great when you have a pilot who is the best at one ship.
He's the best.
Even at, what did I say? Oh, whatever. That's even true on Tranquility, though. So there's, like, Ribeye Jackson is the best Saber pilot in EVE Online. And he can do things with a Saber that you'd never even imagine. Dirty, horrible things with a Saber that you don't even want to see. We can't show on television.
So how many of those basically, like, kind of... So that's someone who's kind of unique. Like, how many do you get in an alliance, for example? Like, you guys have 25 pilots in Goon Swarm, standby for that. Like, are all of those that type of class pilot?
No, not all of them. I mean, a lot of the guys, they trained up skills specifically for a tournament. Like, I think we really had a shortage of NEO pilots coming into the tournament, and we had to have people actually train that ship. That way we had those dedicated pilots that they were able to get those skills at level 5. Yeah. Like, before the tournament started, there was a big thread about why doesn't CCP just do this on the test server and give everyone, like, infinite skill points. Yeah. But, like, you need these pilots that can fly the frigs, and the frigs don't really take that long to skill up. So, I mean, you still can be effective with low skill points.
It's also not fun if people aren't losing money when they die.
Yeah, that's true. I think that the time you'll see in most teams a specialized pilot where he is the best person in that alliance at that thing is the logistics pilot.
He's the best.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the match, Godfathers versus Fatal Ascension.
I think Fatal Ascension, if they steer away from the Sleipnir Cyclone setup they've been bringing the entire tournament, I think they'll do a lot better. Like I said, those setups were getting stomped yesterday.
All right.
I got to go with Fatal Ascension as well.
I'm going to go with Fatal Ascension, Old Providence Alliance, back in the day.
All right. I think I might go with Godfathers.